So first of all, Tracy Gritz here. If you didn't catch it, this is Align Living Live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's topic is blind spots. What are your blind spots, and how to understand the language of the universe, the language of life, so that you actually really don't have blind spots, which is a beautiful thing, right? Doesn't that just give you some peace of mind right there? And if you are interested in Align Living Live, if you want to get a notification for it, don't spam anybody, just text the word Align, ALIGN, to 38470. Again, text the word Align to 38470, or you can simply go onto my website, tracygritz.com, and there's Align Living Live, and you can find out more about that. Okay, so let's first talk about, we talked a little bit about how actually your feelings are your language. Your feelings are the language of your soul, communicating with you that you are on track or you are off track. You're in alignment or you are out of alignment. So if you have a feeling, if you're feeling anger, frustration, fear, worry, these are all because you are an aspect of the divine in form, right? You are love incarnate. What's God? God is pure love. So that's actually who you really are. Who you really are is this pure love that was given to you at birth, that you inherited. It is your inheritance because that is who you actually are. What you are is this body, is this voice, is this, bigger thighs, smaller thighs, taller, shorter, acne, no acne, no fingers. That's what you are. But who you are is actually a manifestation of the divine in form, which is love. So that is your language. That is your natural language, is the language of love, which is why it feels so good, because it is the authentic language of you and of every other human being. So again, when you are in gratitude, when you look up at the sky and there's a majestic sunset, and there's so much gratitude for that beautiful sunset, that is just a same frequency in my mind as love, because it's just such a good frequency, and that is your natural language. So when you, and again, I'm not talking about love like, oh, I love my husband, I love my significant other. That is a different version of love. That's the mind love. But the God love, the true love that you are, is a frequency, is a vibration of love. So when you are feeling crappy, when you are pissed, when you are feeling frustrated, these are all your own soul, your own guidance reminding you or alerting you. It's your internal alarm clock alerting you that you are out of your alignment. So what to do about that? So last week, I want to share a story with you, because all of Align Living comes from me living life and going, oh my God, holy crap, that sucked, or that was outstanding. And here I am, just living it out loud for you, and for me, of course. But I'm just the willing participant to be here sharing it and being vulnerable to it all, because I think it'll help. I think it helps me. I think it helps everybody else to know, oh my God, so everybody, we all go through this shit. We all go through it. So, okay, last week what happened was I was talking to a friend of mine who was experiencing some challenges, and I, in all of my, lovely wisdom, said, oh, so I started giving this person some suggestions. Just like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And they're like, I know all that. That's not what they said, but that's what I heard. Was I know all that. Yeah, I know that. 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 And I was like, I could feel that, right? I could feel that, like, oh my gosh, you know all that? I felt frustrated. I felt like, oh my gosh, here you are. It's so hard for you, what you're going through. And I have this information, and, it seems so. And have you ever talked to somebody and what they're going through? It seems so obvious to you what they should do. Right? It's like, I totally know what they should do. Like it's so clear, so clear, so clear. And it's so clear, but they're not hearing that frustration is actually all of frustration is life talking to us. So now it's discerning, what is life saying? So anyway, whatever. Of course, that was her frustration. Mine was, hey, I just felt like, yeah, I got it all. So here, even though this person is super frustrated, really not happy, they've got it all. They've heard it all. Yes, 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 yes. So that is for me. That feeling of frustration was large. And large for me at this point in time in my life means that's a biggie. Because I usually, for the most part now, fortunately, through this journey and through the work that I've been doing and life I've been living, it's I get life's messages fairly easily, and I hear it. But apparently on this one, I had not heard it. I had been missing it. And so when that conversation happened, I felt it big. I felt pissed. I felt frustrated. I felt like, okay, fine. So now I know, okay, oh, look at that, Tracy. Look at that massive judgment, that massive reaction, that massive frustration that you just had. And so what's going on with that, honey? What's going on? It's me talking to me, right? Like, what's going on with that, honey? So the next day, so I'm like, So what it is, okay, here's the language of the universe. Here's the language of life. And of course, what I say to you always, 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 does this ring true for you? Does this align for you? Because I don't know better for you than you know for you. And I will always remind you of that you have the answer. If what I'm saying, if what I continue to say feels right, feels true, great. If it doesn't, great too. Always listen to you. You so know you. So the next day, as I was going through my day, I was feeling like I was really kind of trying to just what feel into that, because myself goes, oh, I don't like feeling like that. That's so not nice. I just kind of want it to go away. I just like, let's just have that feeling go away. So the next day, something happened and I realized, what it was for me was I had thought I'd known something. I was like, yeah, I got that. Sure, that's how life is. I know that. That's how life is. I got that one. And the next day, when something happened, I was like, oh, I don't have that one. I thought I had it. I thought I knew it, and I did not. And so I was awakened to this idea of something that I thought I knew. I had not integrated it. I had not integrated it. And so that's why life was like, hello, you think you know something, but you don't. See, we're going to have you get pissed off at this person because they think they know everything. But that's really my message. This was life. What was I pissed about? That they felt like they knew everything. That was my message for me. Life is a reflection for us. Life is a mirror for us. And life is constantly talking to us. So that frustration and that ratcheted up level of frustration was for me to realize, hey, I didn't know. It was a little bit, first of all, it's always so beautiful for me when stuff like that happens, because I don't want to think I know something when I don't, right? I want to be open and receptive to the beauty and the magic of all of life's conversations with me, of all of my opportunities, for as much as my level of awareness will let me know, for the level of awareness that I have, so that I can see and honor the changes that are going to support me in continuing to step into the truth of who I am too. I am an aspect of the Creator just like you guys are, and like everybody is. So I say this because that was a very clear experience for me. And life is constantly talking to you. And if you can kind of look at, and it's very literal. Very, very literal. I'll give you another example. I was sitting at lunch with a friend of mine, and she was talking about, gosh, what was it about? Oh, I was sitting at lunch with somebody and they were talking, and I felt like they were kind of full of shit. I felt like they were saying everything was rosy, but I didn't feel like everything was rosy. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I had a whole lot of judgment going on around that. And also like noticing my judgment. Okay, there's judgment. I know who they are. They're an aspect of the divine in form sitting in front of me. So super able to also love them through it and love myself through it. But realizing I have a judgment here. My judgment is that what they're saying is not accurate, not true. And I had a judgment feeling about it. That is for me. Here's another way that life is talking to me. That is for me. And I'll tell you, that was an easy one for me because I don't want one of my fears. Judgment is always fear-laced. It's laced with fear. One of my fears is that that people will think I'm fake. That people will think I'm full of garbage. That's one of my fears. And so here I was judging her, realizing, oh, that is my own fear coming out. That is my own fear right there. And so again, so blind spots. There are actually, the only blind spot is when we choose to be annoyed, choose to judge, choose to be pissed, choose to be worry, and not do those emotions awake. I'll use that term, awake. When we don't do those emotions awake, those then become our blind spots. But they're actually not our blind spots because life is constantly conspiring to show us. So then here's the thing, right? So then I can see, oh gosh, look, there's me. I have this judgment on this. So now I understand, right? Oh, sure, of course, Tracy. And so then I talk to myself. Hey, Tracy, yes, you are worried people will think you're full of it. And there's two sides to that. Yes, some people will. Your message will not be for everyone. And some people will think you're just a whack job, full of it, think you're fake. And that's okay. Because when we judge people, it's an opportunity for us to know ourselves. So I am simply an opportunity for somebody to judge so that eventually they can come to know their own selves and their own fear. And the other thing is, okay, Tracy, watch out for when are you not standing in your own truth? When are you saying things so that people will like you, or that you have inflated so that you can look better? So just watch out for those so that I am, as much as humanly possible, always standing in my own truth. So that if people are thinking that I'm full of it, that's okay. But also to know that I am in my own truth. Does that make sense? So this was an opportunity for me to remember, and it was a light amount of judgment. So I can there's that judgment. So I can kind of navigate through it a little bit easier because it wasn't massive. Some things like that other one was big. So if you notice, so these are the ways that life talks to us. Your feelings are your internal guidance. And when you are feeling pissed, what are you pissed about? What's going on for you? Are you pissed that somebody didn't follow your direction? Somebody disobeyed the rules? What are you pissed about? And if it's somebody didn't follow your directions, that's always okay. So then somebody didn't do what they said they were going to do. Somebody didn't do what they said they were going to do. So maybe then, or what you think they should be doing. So maybe somebody's not doing something you think they should be doing. So the message might be, hey, where am I not in alignment with my own self and what I really want to do? Where am I not honoring my own self? And sometimes the answer is going to be super easy. Sometimes you can totally see it, and sometimes not. Sometimes that merry-go-round. But here's the thing, you are never going to miss it because the universe loves you. Because the whole world, life is constantly there to support your growth. It wants you to. So it's a merry-go-round. If you miss it that one time, it'll come back around and around and around. And I was talking with a new client yesterday who was very worried about things she's missing. And so, I could be, for her, one of the places that she's looking for my help is in the places that, you don't know what you don't know. You can't see what you can't see. And that is a culture kind of thing that we talk about. You don't know what you don't know. You can't see what you can't see. Where that leaves you is in fear, and it's not accurate. It's simply not accurate, because your feelings are always there and always telling you what's going on. So so that's one of the things she's looking for me, is to help her to find these places. So fine, we can totally do that. All I'm doing is simply going to make her aware of when she's pissed, when she's frustrated, when she's hurt, because that's where the data is. That's where the information is. That's where the messages are. I don't actually have them. Her feelings are her own data, her own information, her own guidance system. So I'm hoping that makes sense to you. I can give you another story and another example. My husband was talking. He's such good food for fodder, or whatever that is. He was reading the newspaper, and again, this is how we get to know ourselves. How there are no blind spots. Again, we're talking about, are there really blind spots? No, they're not. They're none. And how life is working to show us so that we actually don't have blind spots. So he says there was some horrible thing going on, and he says, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe people. He was very judgmental about how they thought about some. Oh, it was some sort of maybe racism or something. Could have been something like that, and how they just judged this particular sect, and they just judged them, and how wrong that is to judge them, and blah blah blah. And this was very frustrating for him. So, gently, I said, are you open? Do you want it? He's like, okay, bring it on. I said, it's sort of like how you judge politicians. You just judge them. There is a blanket statement to you what's going on in politics right now. There is, yes, you might be educated about it, but still there's just this massive judgment. You're doing the same thing, only you're not killing people along with it. So the judgment that he had of these people who were kind of, I guess they were killing his race. I don't know what they were doing. The judgment that he had on it was these people thinking, not accepting, there was intolerance. That's the word. There's intolerance. And yet he has intolerance. We all do, right? And the goal is to see it. I think the yumminess, the freedom is in seeing it, where our intolerance is, so that when we see so as we start talking, he can start to see, oh, I am really intolerant of these politicians. Yes, he's not out killing them, of course, but it's just on a smaller scale. Just on a much smaller scale. So that feeling, that frustration, that anger toward these people who were intolerant was actually his own inner guidance saying, you are. I want to wake you up. I want to wake you up to that intolerance. Now, not saying that intolerance is ever okay. Intolerance is a behavior. There's two separate places. There is the person who is always an aspect of divine in form, who is always came into this world just as that little baby, who was always divine in form. And there's the action that the person takes. The action is not okay. The action is cruel. The person, I know it's hard to separate those two, but if you are the divine in form, so is everybody else. You don't just get the ticket. Everybody has the same ticket. because we are all people. So remember, it is the action, it is not the person. So again, that is a way that life is talking to him. And that's a way life talks to us. Again, the behavior is not okay. Intolerance is never okay. But when it tweaks us so much, we can look to see where we are in our intolerance. And I want to share one more analogy of why this works. I want you to think about right now, I want you to think about the worst, something that's, like, what do you just hate when people do? What do you just hate when they do it? What is something you just drives you bat blank crazy? Do you have it? Okay. So when people do this, that makes me crazy. I hate it when people do this. You can even go there. I hate it when people do this. What do you hate that people do? Now, most likely, thank you. For some reason, the comments, I know I cannot, for whatever reason, see these dang comments. Sorry, people. I'm not loving you. I do love you. I just maybe comments will work now. I touched another button. Do you think that works? When this stuff goes on to YouTube, I bet people are like, what the heck is she talking about on that? I touched another button. So we'll see. Okay. So I will speak to that until I can, and then if I can see comments, great. If not, then, okay. So let me see. Oh, I think I can see comments. Oh, yes. Okay. So I'm cracking me up. Okay. I can't see the comments, Stace. Sorry. So sorry. Cannot see. Okay. So let's just say that you said, I hate when people cut me off. Let's just say that I hate it when people are late. Let's say all that. Most likely what you didn't come up with was, I hate human trafficking. Most likely what you didn't come up with was, I hate when drug dealers murder people. I hate drive-by shootings. I hate road rage. Most likely you didn't say any of those things. And it's because you don't do those things. So life isn't needing to teach you those things. Does this make sense? This is how you know for a fact that life is actually a mirror for you, because it's only going to show you those things that are going on for you. It's like, so you don't come up with, what do I hate? I hate that, I hate that there's human trafficking. I don't think like that because I don't human traffic. It's not even in my purview. It's not even a part of me, right? This is the importance of it. You are not shown things that you don't own. You are not shown things that you do not own. Why do we own intolerance? Because we are intolerant. Why do I own feeling like somebody's judging me on being fake? Because I have been fake. This is why I can see it. The only reason I can see it is because I have done it. This is important. So Stacy asked, what about arguing with your husband and trying to make a point and him not seeing it from your perspective? So I recognize I'm frustrated. So what's the mirror reflection and lesson I'm to see within myself inherently? So you're arguing with your husband and you're trying to have him see a point. So so without talking it through, you want him to understand you. You want to be heard. And I'm pretty sure those are accurate. Most of us, we want to be heard. That is your mirror for starting to listen to you. I'm going to say that again. I have had so many conversations in the past with my husband where I would argue with him. Yes, she says, yes. Where I would argue with him and I would want him to understand my point of view. I would want him to hear me. Well, I'll tell you, I was not listening to my own self. You can never give what you don't have. When I started listening, when I started listening to myself more and more and more and more, the less I needed him to hear me. It was crazy how that worked. So I would say, so let's say would be talking to my husband about something that he needed to know and I wanted him to understand me. But the more I started saying, hey, I feel frustrated. I'm talking to this person and I'm feeling really frustrated. And what do I want to know? What am I trying to tell him that I want to hear? What am I trying to tell him? I want him to care for me more. I want him to think about me more. I want him to do more things for me. Well, then, those are all my first person communications. That's the mirror. Oh, I want to listen to me. I want to care for me. I want to stand up for me. Those are all my communications to myself. That's what that is. Now that's some tough love, right? That is not always easy because it's when we make somebody else responsible for our emotions. Well, first of all, there's a lot of frustration in that and a lot of heartache. But then we don't have to do the work inside. But really that's the work for us. Where, I'm expecting him to listen to me, but I'm not even listening to me. Maybe I don't know what all the circumstances are, but that will give you a little bit is if you're frustrated that you're not feeling heard, that is the reflection for you. You're not hearing your own self, to listen to your own self, to honor the hurt feelings, to honor your own self, to own that, to love that part of you. And then from there, it's not going to make it all easy, but the more each baby step you take in those directions, each baby step, again, this is not for the faint of heart. This is more work than we're used to blaming other people. We're used to holding ourselves hostage. So until somebody else, our emotions hostage until somebody else agrees with us or affirms us. If they affirm us, but here's one of my besties, Jordan, has a great example. If we're wanting them to hear us and to say something and to say, yes, I see your point. Yes, you're right. Yes, we're waiting for them to affirm us. It's like basically we're really hungry. We're starving. We're starving for these words. Yes, I hear you. Yes, I understand. Yes, I see your point. Yes, I'm here for you. Yes, I love you. Whatever those words are, basically we're starving for those words. And we're giving that other person all the food to eat. So they're over there eating their meal of whatever, they're over there filling themselves up. But the only way to actually fill ourselves up is for us to give ourselves those words. For us to say, hey, I hear you. I'm with you. Yes. So what do we want to do from this? To me, what do we want to do from here? I hear you. I'm with you. Maybe we just need to take a time out. Whatever it is, I love you. I'm here for you. So now you're nourishing. You are the one that has the words that you need to hear. We often think the words are in the other person, that we want to hear come from them. But the only way to satiate that hunger in us is to say these words to ourselves. Because no matter how often that person says those words to us, it never does the trick because it's always an empty well. We're like a sieve. They can keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it, but we don't own it until we start to give it to ourselves. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. But again, these are ways that life is talking to us all the time. And if you just take if you've heard the term probably the low-hanging fruit, just take the low-hanging fruit. What can you see? What tweaks you? What frustrates you? What angers you? What can you see that love you so much. You're so welcome, Stace. Totally. What can you see that you get frustrated with or worried about or struggle with that you can then look at it for what it is? Oh, this is life's language. This is a message for me. This is a message from my soul to me to heal. So this is a message to me from the universe. So what is the message here for me? What are the words? And don't sugarcoat it. I'm feeling super judgy because I think they're ugly. That could be your fear about being ugly. Oh, that's my fear about being ugly. And then telling yourself you're beautiful no matter what. That's just the truth. So take the low-hanging fruit. Start off with a low-hanging fruit where it's small and easy and you can identify it, and then nourish yourself. See it for what it is for you. And then remember what I was telling you, that then once you start with this being your foundation and seeing it for where you see it easily, don't rack your brain, don't freak out. That's just another way to fear and judge yourself. But wherever you can capture it, write it down. Hey, I saw this today. I was super afraid of this. I was super worried about this. I was super judgy about this. I was super pissed about this. And I see that I'm not giving myself that. Or I see that I'm really worried about that. And every time you do that, you are strengthening, you're starting to hear life's messages. And so as you make this a practice, and as this becomes your normal, you are able then to get bigger messages, to understand more powerful experiences like, wow, that I felt like that was going to bowl me over, or whatever it was. Life then can hand you, we start out in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. So then eventually, right, we just move on up and we get different messages because now we're ready for them. Now we have the foundation for the new messages that are coming our way. And here's the beauty of it. As we get different messages as we move on in our journey, it actually becomes easier to navigate through those messages because we have less baggage on them, more love for ourselves. And so as you're loving yourself through stuff, it's a lot easier to navigate those waters. So again, hope this helps. Love you with all my heart. I am Tracy Gritz, Align Living Live. And this week we were talking about your blind spots, what they are, and how you actually never have them. Life is constantly talking to you, what the language is, and then how to interpret the language. Really, the way to interpret the language is what are the words that are pissing you off. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Just what are those words? I think she's fake. I don't like that person, that she's fake. I judge that person. You know what? Though that person doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Or, God, they're so stuck up. Or whatever it is. All of these are the truth. Or you're pissed because somebody didn't do something. I hate when people they didn't do what I wanted. So now, if they did what I wanted, then I would feel good. Oh, so now you're holding your good feelings hostage based on what they do. These are all great, fantastic ways life is talking to you. So listen, write it down as much as you can is my recommendation so you can see your growth, because it is there, every baby step that you take. And to know that you are loved all the time. I think you are amazing. You are perfect every single second of every single minute of every single day. And if this video aligns for you, please do pass it along so we can spread the love and the messaging of the truth of who we all are together on this planet. Love you from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you next week. Thank you, Cynthia Renee. Mwah! Thank you so much. Oh, so good. Such a soul sister for sure. Love you guys. Bye-bye. If I can shut this thing down. Stop.